Hey, my name is Ben. Thanks for stopping by. Today we are installing a standard receptacle into an outlet box. So I'll just show you step by step what that process looks like. You'll need a screwdriver, a torpedo level if you want to level the box, a flat screwdriver, cover plate, and that's about, and of course the wire stripper. So first step is to make sure that the power is turned off, which in this case I know that the power is off because I verified that, so make sure you do that before proceeding. And now we're going to just go ahead and roll these wires out of the box. And the way I've got this set up here is these are pigtailed, so it makes this process really easy now. If you were, theoretically, you could have two sets of wires coming in here, and you could have one set attached to one terminal, and the next set, the outgoing set, attached to this terminal, and same thing on this side. The ground wires have to be pigtailed in the box. You cannot attach two ground wires to there. But anyway, it's better to do all of those connections inside the box, and then just bring your wires out that you're going to be attaching to your receptacle, and that's it. That way, if you ever have to take the receptacle out of the wall, then it's going to not affect the rest of the receptacles that are in line for the one that you're working on. So, firstly, we're going to start by stripping the wire back. Now, just something to note, stripping back about 3/4 of an inch. And in this case, I've actually used a 14 gauge wire. This is a 20 amp circuit, so a 12 gauge wire. But I've used a 14 gauge wire for my pigtail for the ground. 14 gauge insulated wire. And the reason for that is code allows it to be a 14 gauge wire for just a single device. And it will just help you with pushing the receptacle back in the box, as well as the insulation will help you to make sure that it doesn't short out on something. So now we're going to look at our outlet here. Now we're going to install it in this orientation. Technically this orientation is safer, so if you want to do that you can as well. And the reason that it's safer is that if the plug comes partially out and something falls onto this, then this prong right here is the ground, and so it's not going to cause any hazards. But I'm going to go this way because the traditional look to me is worth more than that added potential safety benefit. So the gold terminals are the hot terminals, or where your black wire is going to be attaching. And you want to make sure that you wrap the wire around in the direction that the screw is going to be twisting. So in this case, we're going to turn this to the right. And now we've got that ready to go. We'll just go ahead and put this on right away. It does not matter which terminal you're going to attach to. So we'll just go ahead and get this done. Now I'm using a square head screwdriver. I would highly recommend the square head. Using the square-headed screwdriver for this because it is much easier to get a nice tight connection. Now you can also use a flat or a Phillips, but I'd recommend using the square if you can, if your receptacles have that option. So now we are ready to get our neutral attached here. Again, we're just going to turn this so that we are looking at it correctly. We're gonna make this loop to the right. I'll just go ahead and do the same thing with my ground wire. Loop it over to the right. And now we are ready to attach this. You can see how much more convenient it is to just have to attach two or these 3 wires instead of having to do 5 wires. A lot less to deal with. So if you currently have an outlet where you've got your wires that all connect onto the receptacle, I'd recommend going ahead and taking the time to pigtail them like it is in this box here. See if I can zoom in on it for you. But yeah, basically just pigtail them so that you don't have to, so you only have to connect these few wires coming out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and roll these into the box now very carefully. So we're going to just get them as far down as we can and then fold them up and then back down again. Now you always want to be able to position the outlet all the way in place, and don't use the screws to tighten or to push the wires in. You want to get the outlet to where it's sitting in there nicely, and then once you've got it kind of where it's going to be, then go ahead and use the screws to hold the outlet in place. Now you're going to want to tighten this down just enough so that these rabbit ears, or whatever you want to call them, are sitting out on your drywall. That's going to keep this outlet nice and flush with this surface of the wall. And now we're going to go ahead and take our torpedo level and just make sure that the receptacle is about level, and we can just tweak it a little bit because it's not super tight there. And once we like it, we can come back and give these screws a little snug. And now we're ready for our cover plate. So here we are. And we're pretty much done. Now this is a tamper-resistant receptacle, which means it has a little shutters in it, which are safer, and they're required anywhere, I think it's up to 6 feet. So if you have any outlets that are underneath the 6 feet, it should be tamper resistant. Now I'm just going to show you here. I can't push this into there because of those tamper resistant protectors. So I hope this helped you out. If it did, please rate it up and subscribe to the channel for more helpful videos. Again, my name is Ben, and we'll talk to you in the next one.